I'm Alan Robarge, a psychotherapist and a relationship coach. Welcome to Improve Your Relationships, where I like to talk about attachment injuries and healing attachment trauma. This video is about the core concerns and the core practices. There's a total of 12, and this is video number 10. I had to look at my paper to remind myself. Number 10. I've done 9, all of them back to back. We're on number 10. I don't know if you're watching them all back to back. I will put them in a playlist so that you'll be able to find them easily. These core concerns and these core practices are about insecure attachment relationship dynamics and identifying some of the common themes, the common core concerns that seem to show up in our lives. And when I say our, I mean people who have insecure attachment styles, people who have unintegrated attachment trauma, very specific attachment injuries that need attention, that the symptoms of trauma get triggered and get activated when we are experiencing intimacy and emotional connection and vulnerability in relationship. And that could play out in the whole spectrum of either feeling insecure when we have emotional connection, or it will trigger an insecurity when we notice an absence of emotional connection. There's a bit of a continuum where we might fall somewhere on that continuum, and given our situation with our partner or degrees of other types of stressors or where we have support in our life might determine the degree to which we respond or how much it impacts us. This document, the core concerns and the core practices, are just acknowledging that it does impact us, and it's going to show up in certain thought processes. It's going to show up in how we treat ourselves and feel about ourselves. It's going to show up in our boundaries of how we're able to create relationships, and it's going to show up in our behaviors of how we're relating and staying present or not staying present in a relationship. So this is number 10. I'm reading off of a document that has 12 items. If you want to get your own copy of this core concerns, core practices document handout, please do go to my website, alanrobarge.com/core concerns. You'll be able to sign up and it will be emailed to you. Number 10, here we go. Let me jump in. We choose emotionally unavailable partners because in certain ways we also are emotionally unavailable. And even before I keep reading, I mean, isn't that a hard pill to swallow? And of course, it's not foolproof. You'll notice on this document, I often say, really use the word sometimes. I mean, it's worded as a direct statement for clarity, but it's really helpful to put the word sometimes in front of the sentence, and then we can sort of see how it applies into different situations or different scenarios. It is so hard, oftentimes, for many of us when we think that when we know that we're being denied emotional connection from others, or that the amount of emotional nourishment in our life is lacking, to then also really wrap our heads around, oh, by the way, I too am behaving in ways where I am emotionally unavailable. And this can be so confusing for many people who very much say, oh, no, I really, really want emotional connection. I'm very emotionally intelligent. I value being open with another person. I am, that's what I want. But these dynamics are so slippery and so covert and all about protecting ourselves and layers of being guarded. And to the point that many of us, unfortunately, have certain layers of unconscious behaviors that we need to bring into consciousness. And one very, very important key point, which is the point of this number 10, is really looking at, oh, I actually am at times in certain ways emotionally unavailable as well, which is why I seek out, pursue, and pick emotionally unavailable partners. So this might resonate with you too. I'm gonna rewind, start at the top, number 10. We choose emotionally unavailable partners because in certain ways we also are emotionally unavailable. Most of us are repeating and recreating old family dynamics in our adult relationships. Emotional unavailability is familiar to us. We were trained to tolerate and accept crumbs of non-engagement. Therefore, we choose to practice balanced emotional reciprocity in our relationships with intimate partners who are emotionally responsive. And I'm going to repeat the last part. All of the first part names the dynamic. That's what I'm calling the concern. And then whenever the sentence begins with the phrase, therefore we choose, that's the practice. That's where we can really shift gears. Say, well, where do I place my focus? What can I practice working on? Therefore, we choose to practice balanced emotional reciprocity in our relationships with intimate partners who are emotionally responsive. So if you want to play tennis, you got to pick someone who knows how to play tennis. If you want to, pick any sport, whatever the sport, if you want to go for a canoe ride, you're going to need someone who also has a paddle and is able to, paddle on their side of the canoe. Because if you're only paddling on one side, you're just going to go in circles. Or if you're doing all the paddling, over time, you're not going to get very far. It's going to feel very, very one-sided. And I know that you can relate. Many of us have pursued and created emotionally one-sided relationships. So the document that I referred to, alanrobarge.com/core concerns, it's this, what I'm reading here, all 12 of the items together, but it also has the practices, just the phrase that says, therefore we choose to practice, etc., blah, 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 whatever it says. I've separated those out, so when you get the download of the document, you're also going to get just the practices by themselves, which I think is helpful. I like reading them because I've created this because it mirrors my life and helps me also continue to walk a path of healing. I'm a big fan of self-directed healing. This document, this information, thinking about self-directed healing is intended to identify like-minded people, identify people like you, so that we can come together. And I'm creating a community membership website. It's going to be rather small, not as large as a Facebook group, but it's going to be smaller, of like-minded people to encourage each other to talk about these dynamics, explore these dynamics, ask advice, offer feedback, and really encourage each other that it is possible to create new, different types of relationships that are more emotionally satisfying, and that we can change old patterns. That's the purpose of the community membership website. So to learn more about that, to also get this document, go to my website, the document, alanrobarge.com/core concerns, or the webpage community if you want to learn more about the community. And subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, if you want to see the next videos. 2 more coming up, the last 2 in the series, total 12. I'll be back shortly. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.